Relativism and truth. Relativism challenges the concept of absolute or objective truth. It posits that truth is contingent upon various factors such as discourse, power dynamics, and historical context. This perspective is aligned with Nietzsche's theory of perspectivism, which holds that knowledge is not a fixed entity, it is relative to or dependent upon individual perspectives. As Nietzsche puts it, there are no facts, only interpretations. In line with this idea, Michel Foucault explores how institutions and societal structures shape what is accepted as truth, highlighting the role of power dynamics in constructing knowledge. He argues that power relations play a crucial role in the construction of knowledge. Both postmodernism and poststructuralism reject essentialist foundations for truth. In other words, they claim that truth is not based on an underlying essence but is instead shaped by various factors and perspectives. It implies that truth is not fixed or absolute. Reality is complex, diverse, and context dependent. Knowledge and truth are constructed through language, culture, and power dynamics. Problematic nature of language. Both poststructuralism and postmodernism reject the idea that language transparently conveys fixed meanings. Instead, they emphasize its inherent instability. Central to this view is Derrida's concept of difference. Derrida's argument unfolds as follows. First, language is inherently unreliable. Words do not refer to things directly, but acquire meaning through their differences from other words, operating within a system that never fully connects to an external reality. Meaning is not referential or tied to a fixed referent. As Saussure observes, language consists of differences without positive terms. Saussure's point is that words do not have intrinsic meanings but gain significance only in relation to other words. There is no inherent fixed essence within a word that ties it directly to its referent. Instead, meaning emerges from the interplay of differences within a linguistic system. The word cat, for instance, only has meaning because it is not bat, hat, or rat, not because of any natural connection to the animal itself. Derrida extends Saussure's insight in two ways. First, meaning is not just differential but also deferred. It is never fully present, always shifting depending on the words that precede and follow. Second, this deferral means that meaning is always unstable, never final. Therefore, meaning is never fully present but is shaped by traces of other words, just as red in a traffic light implicitly contains the presence of amber and green. Language does not simply represent reality, it mediates and distorts it. This challenges the traditional notion of language as a transparent medium. Instead, it functions as a smudgy screen or a distorting lens. As a result, any attempt to express an authentic truth is complicated by the slipperiness of language. Derrida describes this process in the following words. The movement of signification is possible only if each so-called present element is related to something other than itself, thereby keeping within itself the mark of the past element and already letting itself be vitiated by its relation to the future element, constituting what is called the present. by means of this very relation to what it is not. In short, language does not grant direct access to reality. Rather, it mediates, distorts, and indefinitely differs. Both post-structuralism and postmodernism converge on the idea that language is inherently problematic, unstable, self-referential, and resistant to fixed interpretations. Post-structuralism reveals that language operates not by directly signifying reality, but through an endless chain of differences, where words gain meaning only in relation to others. This internal instability means that language cannot be fully controlled or stabilized, casting doubt on the idea of fixed meaning. Postmodernism extends this critique by exploring the broader implications of the unreliability of language. It highlights how language is always slipping, how texts undermine their own authority, and how meaning is always at risk of subversion. A crucial aspect of this instability is the self-referential nature of language. Language often refers to itself within both post-structuralist and postmodernist frameworks. This self-referentiality is central to understanding the convergences between these two movements, as it highlights how language constructs and deconstructs meaning within texts and cultural contexts. Derrida's assertion that there is nothing outside the text encapsulates a central tenet of post-structuralist thought. It implies that all understanding is mediated through language. There is no access to a reality independent of textual representation. This perspective challenges the notion of fixed meaning, proposing instead that meaning is always in flux, contingent upon context and interpretation. Postmodernism, like post-structuralism, is deeply concerned with language, particularly its instability and performative nature. Rather than merely conveying meaning, language in postmodernist texts often functions as an act that shapes reality. This is evident in works like Beckett's Waiting for Godot, where repetitive and absurd dialogue highlights the performative aspects of communication, making language an event in itself. In other words, the act of using language becomes the main focus rather than just the message being conveyed. This aligns with the postmodernist view of language as a series of games without inherent purpose, reflecting a skepticism towards grand narratives and fixed interpretations. Thus, in both post-structuralism and postmodernism, language ceases to be a neutral or transparent tool of communication. Instead, it becomes an unstable, shifting terrain where meaning is not only deferred but also disrupted, where every attempt at clarity is haunted by ambiguity, and where the very medium we rely on to construct knowledge is itself uncertain and contested. This fundamental instability is not just a theoretical concern, it impacts how we interpret texts, form identities, and understand the world. Thank you very much.